Alright, just come across this on Facebook. Acquaintance of mine posted it. I hope that my acquaintance, quote unquote, posted this with tongue in cheek or with smoke coming out of his ears or whatever, because shit. I'm just gonna play it. It's about 7 minutes long, and then I'll say something. All right, here goes. Ready? Here it comes.
The debates are over. That is to say, Donald Trump's debates against Hillary Clinton are over, but Donald Trump's debates against America and democracy may only be beginning. Last night he made a statement in front of tens of millions of Americans that should by itself end not just his candidacy for, but also his eligibility to be president. Throughout the media last night and this morning, it has been treated as something new and shocking. It is neither. It is just that this time, it was not hidden by the breathing barrage of stupidity and arrogance and delusion this man is. In short, Trump did not get away with it this time. Moderator, your running mate, Governor Pence, pledged on Sunday that he and you, his words, will absolutely accept the result of this election. Today, your daughter Ivanka said the same thing. I want to ask you here on the stage tonight, do you make the same commitment that you will absolutely, sir, that you will absolutely accept the result of this election? Trump, I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. At that exact moment, he lost the election. If Trump still had a chance, it vanished right then. And then, if he had a chance to regain perhaps some dignity, to not pull down his supporters and his party with him, he blew that as well. Moderator, there is a tradition in this country, in fact, one of the prides of this country is the peaceful transition of power, and that no matter how hard fought a campaign is, that at the end of the campaign, the loser concedes to the winner. Not saying that you're necessarily going to be the loser or the winner, but that the loser concedes to the winner. And that the country comes together in part for the good of the country. Are you saying you're not prepared now to commit to that principle? Trump, what I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time, I'll keep you in suspense, okay? Burn in hell. 17 days ago in this space, I quoted Donald Trump's whiny interview from the New York Times on September 30th. Having had it only drawn out of him with rhetorical pliers in the first debate that he would support Hillary Clinton if she were elected, he then reneged on that promise 20 days ago saying, quote, we're going to see what happens, we're going to have to see. It was, as I observed then, the first time in American history, through dozens of venomous, painful campaigns and a series of impossibly close elections, the first and only time that a candidate of a major party had violated the fundamental precept of our democracy. It shakes every one of our freedoms. It mocks every dead American soldier. It spits at every sacrifice made under our flag. It has no comparison, not to Al Gore, not to Samuel Tilden, not to Andrew Jackson. It foments revolution. It was and is the moral equivalent of treason. And this time it slipped past no one. Not the moderator, not Fox News, not even Breitbart.com. No one. It was not a flash of anger from a man who gets angry once an hour. It was not another slab of red meat thrown to his crazed supporters. It was not another outrageous statement to throw up against the wall in this cheap reality game show version of a presidential campaign. He meant it. He means it. He meant it on September 30th to the New York Times, and he meant it last night when Chris Wallace asked him about it, and he meant it again last night when Chris Wallace gave him a chance to back away from it. Donald Trump is not invested in democracy. Donald Trump is not invested in our Constitution. Donald Trump is not invested in America. Donald Trump is not invested in preventing people from being killed on the streets after an election like this were a third world police state. I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I'm saying is that I will tell you at the time. I'll keep you in suspense. Okay. Burn in hell. Last night, this moved beyond Trump and his ego and his mental illness and his inability to understand that the country is full of people, the other people on this planet as well. All of them are not just props in some sort of television series starring Donald Trump. This is now about the Republican Party and its responsibility to the democracy and its responsibility to the Constitution and its responsibility to America. Reince Priebus, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, John Cornyn, Kevin McCarthy, Marco Rubio, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush. This man will not promise that he will honor the sanctity, the inviolability of our election, your candidate, your party. Right now, this moment, uncorrected by any of you, this man is advocating violent or passive resistance to a presidential election. And if you do not act against him, you will be blamed for him, and you will fall with him. This is bigger than who is the next president, or who is the next RNC chair, or who is the next Speaker of the House. This is our democracy imperiled from within by a man you have permitted to speak for you and to speak for millions of loyal Americans who suddenly realize that the nominee of their party is willing to subvert the election and to subvert the democracy itself. Compel him to withdraw now. Litigate against him. Find enough doctors and have him declared psychiatrically incompetent. At minimum, cut off his funding completely and denounce him in the strongest possible terms. Because this nightmare, this fascist, this Trump is now your responsibility. And after what he said on September 30th, and after what he said last night, and after what he repeated last night, it is no longer enough for him to simply lose this election. He must now not be given the opportunity to keep us in suspense. He must now not be given the option to look at it at the time. The defense and viability and future of this democracy now depends on this man being removed by any legal means from being able to further act against this democracy. Whether the Republican ticket or the Democratic ticket gets the most votes on election night and in the Electoral College is in this context incidental. The issue now is a man who has on 3 occasions assailed the most precious component of our 240 years of freedom, and by so doing encouraged others to also subvert it and ignore it. And whether you, the Republican Party, will permit him in the next 19 days to do it a 4th time, or a 5th time, or a 100th time, or a 1,000th time. Will you, or will you act on behalf of the United States of America? Give us your answer.
All right. You heard this raving lunatic. And I'm telling you, he's a raving lunatic. Because number one, let me just give you a name. Somebody else who didn't accept the results of the election. Al Gore. Now, think whatever you want about Al Gore. I personally think he's a jerk, but, hey, that's beside the point. The point is, he didn't accept the results of the election, like, oh wow. He challenged them. He stood up to the corruption, the Bush corruption, the Supreme Court corruption, the Florida state government's corruption, Jeb the fucker Bush. Seriously, this fucking lunatic, oh yeah, I can be a lunatic and rant and rave just as good as this bastard. Because number one, I don't know if he's intentionally doing this. I don't know if he's saying these things and ranting like this intentionally because he's like bought and paid for by the fucking Hillary mafia, or he's just stupid. But he's very common. What he's saying, what he took from what Donald Trump said last night, what this guy did was totally, twist brain his mind around a freaking delusion. And obviously the man is verbally illiterate. I mean, he can't read. Obviously he doesn't understand English. Now, I admit, Donald Trump could have been a little clearer on his comment. He could have said something a little bit more detailed in his thing. He could have said, I will look at it at the time, and considering all of the rigging going on by Hillary Clinton and her mafia, I might have to look at this election and the results and examine, if not, whether there was any more rigging going on, since it's already obvious and a fact that Hillary is responsible, one way or another, directly or indirectly, with the rigging of this election. What kind of fucking idiot is this guy, Keith Obermann? Raving lunatic. Talk about a raving lunatic. The man got it wrong. He misunderstood what Donald Trump said. And I don't love Donald Trump because I think he's like a freaking lunatic too. But I know what he said. It was English. It's not that hard to comprehend English. Unless you're like the average American, of course. And of course, if you're like a commentator like this fucking moron, I'm not sure if he's a moron or if he's just pure fucking evil, doing the bidding of his witch master, Hillary Clinton. I don't know a whole lot about the man's politics. I haven't listened to him much because, quite frankly, I think he's disgusting, and I don't want to listen to him because, might make my ears fall off or some damn thing. What Donald Trump said was clear, in plain fucking simple English. What he didn't say was, considering, he could have just said this, Donald, I'm talking about, could have said, last night in the debate, he could have said, in light of the fact that Hillary Clinton is guilty of rigging this election and rigging the very convention that picked her to be the nominee over Bernie Sanders, the criminal conspiracy to block out Bernie Sanders from the nomination. Oh, how soon we forget that crime. Really, crime that, Donald is very aware of this crime because he has that information just as I have it. I watched the video where people were, this guy who is a felon, who is like a professional rigger of elections, who confessed on tape. And by the way, this same felon has been to the White House, 257 times in the last year? On behalf of Hillary Clinton, no doubt in my mind. And his job? Rigging elections. I saw that report. I saw that expose of this piece of shit confessing to rigging elections. Like hiring mental retards and unstable psychopathic people to go to Trump rallies and start trouble. I believe Donald Trump mentioned that before. Hillary sent people over, or Bernie Sanders sent people over. Well, he said Bernie Sanders, but it looks to me like it was actually Hillary Clinton. Of course, then again, Bernie Sanders may be in cahoots with Hillary because, birds of a feather and all that shit. Socialists. And the nerve of this asshole to call Donald Trump, what he called him. What the hell? Forget what the word was now. Shit. Can't remember. Senior moment. Doesn't matter. You heard the thing as well as I did just now. I played it for you. I think this is ridiculous. But this is exactly what goes on in this country. Americans are illiterate. And Americans are simply, they're so used to hearing babble and reading babble and thinking in babble and being babblized by the frickin' mind benders in this country. You know, the mind benders. I've been using that word for a while now. It's sort of like I kind of got a tag on that word. Because that's what they are. They're bending people's minds. And if I speak plain, simple English, like right now, English, with a little French thrown in, shit, why not? All right? Now I'm telling you. I understood what Donald was saying. He's saying, well, he should have said it. I mean, if he'd had a little bit of smarts, he would have said it right out loud to the freaking bitch's face. If I suspect that this election has been rigged by you, Hillary, then I'm not going to accept the results. There's going to be an investigation. I'm going to insist on one. I want to see just how, criminal you can be, you piece of shit, cunt, puke. Oh, I couldn't say that on television. He's running for president. You can't. I can say it because I'm not running for president. I can say it because, I talk the truth. And I don't speak babble. So if Donald Trump had just, stepped out of that babblish zone a little bit and said, knowing full well that Hillary Clinton is quite capable of rigging the election because she's already rigged the election, as well as the convention, which we know for a fact happened, thanks to the Russian hackers, apparently. Let's vilify the Russians, or the Russian government, for hacking into Hillary's emails and the DNC's convention thingy and finding out that, you rigged the fucking election. I mean, the nomination process at the convention. Rigged it. We know this for a fact. The guy fucking confessed. They have the evidence. Excuse me, people, just ignore the fucking evidence. Sorry. No. You can ignore it if you want. I'm going to make fun of you for being an idiot. For being like fucking stupid. I'm just going to ignore that fact because it doesn't suit my delusion. Really. Fuck you. And fuck Keith Obermann. Because he's evil. Disgusting piece of shit. Oh, like I said, I'm not saying that Donald Trump is a good guy or a saint or anything. He's a lunatic as far as I can tell. That's beside the point. We're talking about what he said and what this guy is saying he said, which is not what he said. He's drawing some sort of conclusion about this man's character or what have you, when that's not the way it is. They like to spin it the way they want, to support their insanity. And the American people eat it up because the American people are like, mindless zombie drones. Not everybody. If you're listening to this show, you're probably not one of them. But, hey, guess what? 9 out of 10 of people that you know are like that. That's a guess on my part. I can give you some research on that. I have asked 100 people a question. In English. And 99% of those people, that's 99% of those people, didn't even understand the fucking question. Let alone give an answer that is even relevant to the question. You understand what I'm saying? 99% of the people responding to the question didn't even understand the question. And then proceeded to give an answer or response to the question that is totally irrelevant to the question. Why? Because they don't understand English. And then they speak and respond to the question by saying, babble. Let me be clear here on this. Words mean what they mean. So, in regards to this lunatic, Keith Obermann, he got it wrong. He's yelling and like a freaking raving lunatic. Hey, I know what that's like. I'm a raving lunatic sometimes myself, like right now. Because I'm just trying to yell louder than this piece of shit. Because you need to hear me, not him. Well, you need to hear him too, and and then point your finger at him and say, that finger, the one I'm sticking up right here, fuck you, Mr. Obermann. Isn't free speech a beautiful thing? The only problem with free speech is most of it's babble. So I'm just saying, Donald Trump said, I'm going to wait and see what happens, and if the election appears to be rigged, then I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to have some sort of inquiry into this, and I'm not going to accept the results if it seems a little suspicious. Sort of like Al Gore saying, I don't think that's right. I think we ought to check this out and see what happened, because I don't think George Bush won the election. I think Al Gore, won the election. And you know what? I think he did. But let's ask the Supreme Court to rule on that. Oh yeah, like the Supreme Court is going to rule any different than its masters. The mind benders, the socialist, fascist, neocon fuckheads tell him to do. All right, Supreme Court, you will rule according to what we tell you, or we'll kill you. And considering Hillary Clinton has probably more than likely been responsible for the deaths of human beings, no, that's a fact. She has been responsible for the murder of innocent people. I'm not saying that Vince Foster or anything, but, wink, wink. But I know for a fact she's responsible for the murder of innocent men, women, and children in foreign countries, like Pakistan. This alleged attack on a guy in his home in Pakistan who was like, minding his own damn business. And, Marines just kind of whipped in there and shot him in the face. Murder. Because, killing people in a foreign country is one, a crime. And secondly, just going to a foreign country like that is a crime. And, busting into a man's house in the middle of the night and shooting him in the face is murder. And I'm pretty sure it's a crime in any country on this planet. So she's guilty of murder because she had a hand in that. In fact, she even takes some credit for it. Yeah, I'm responsible. I helped, murder a man that's innocent until proven guilty in Pakistan. I had the Marines. I was in charge. I was part of the party of people that hired the hit squad to go over there and, bust in the guy's house in the middle of the night and shoot him in the face. And then dump his body in the ocean so there's no proof that we actually killed the right guy or any damn thing. Follow me? So, as for Mr. Keith Obermann, in the first place, listen to it, be outraged, but for God's sakes, understand that he's just a raving lunatic, and he doesn't know a damn thing what he's talking about. He's totally got it all wrong, and he's spinning it all the way around, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't on the payroll of Hillary Clinton or some other mafia associate of hers, like, Obama. It's the federal mafia. I'm not talking about the Cosa Nostra or, the Italians up in Brooklyn or whatever. Brooklyn, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. New York Mafia. Chicago Mafia. Miami Mafia. The United States government is a mafia. George Bush Mafia and his family and thug gang bastard traitor criminal motherfuckers. Anyway, please don't fall victim. Please don't allow yourself to be duped by these fucking mind bender Piece of shit, motherfuckers. Yes, I say nasty words. Alright. So, that's my take on that. Okay? You heard it. I played it for you. All 7 minutes and 12 seconds of it. It's like, no. He wasn't saying that. So Mr. Keith Obermann, like most Americans, just got it all wrong. Just totally misunderstood. Just totally like twisted it around to mean something else. Sorry, that's not it. That is not even close to it. That's not even in the same planet as it. But the mind benders, I guess what do they call them? The spin doctors or whatever. Mind benders is what they are. They're trying to bend your mind to, bend it till it breaks until you become like a freaking mindless zombie. Or they're trying to dupe you into believing something that didn't happen. Or make you believe that you heard something you didn't hear. Or make you misunderstand what you heard. Like, babble. So anyway, that's my take on Keith Obermann, and I hope to God. You know what? He said he should, burn in hell. Okay, I'm saying to Mr. Keith Obermann, yeah, drop fucking dead, you fucking lunatic, maniac, moron, liar, word bender, mind bender, part of the Matrix. Betcha. Almost guarantee it. So anyway, I'm serious. Just absolutely beyond comprehension. Alright, gonna take a break and I'm gonna post this online and you can listen to it online. If you're listening to it right now, you are, I guess, aren't you? Okay. I'll be right back. Alright. So that's my take on what Keith Obermann said. And I think I'm pretty accurate on that. And I'm calmed down a bit now. Yes, I am. Even though, to be honest with you, I don't think I'll ever get over it because it's common. Because in America, most Americans can't understand English. They cannot read and write and understand English. The reason for that is, I'm thinking a lot of it has to do with the public education system in this country that has totally freaking brain damaged most people. If you went to a public school in America anytime in the last 50 years, you're brain damaged. At least some. And I went to public school in America. Went to some college, in fact. And they tried to brain damage me, but I refused to be brain damaged. And most Americans just don't have the willpower to resist being indoctrinated, manipulated, duped, conditioned. I mean, just look at what words are used today. Just look at the way people talk and what they say and how they say it. And if, like I said, they can't understand what I'm saying, there's not really much point in me saying anything to them because they're like, oh, what you said. Or they're going to totally misunderstand what I said and get just the opposite. I put an ad in the newspaper once, a long time ago when I was in business, and I put an ad in the paper saying, I'll try to quote it as best I can remember it, and I said in the ad, I'm looking for bookkeeping work. I'm kind of paraphrasing it. I think that's pretty close to what I said. I'm looking for bookkeeping work. All right, I'll put it another way. I'm looking for employment as a bookkeeper for a business. I will do bookkeeping for you, a business. If you need a bookkeeper for your business, call me. I will come and work for you as a bookkeeper. I will be a bookkeeper for you, and you can pay me money for keeping your books. I had some experience in that and some knowledge about that. I was very good at being a bookkeeper. But anyway, I put that ad in the paper, and I got how many ads? How many responses? As I recall, I got 3 responses. I'm pretty sure 2 of them said, if I remember correctly, 2 of them were asking me for a job as a bookkeeper. God help us. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm advertising to get work, to find work as a bookkeeper for someone else. That's what the ad was for. So I expected, like businesses, a business, store, somebody to call me and say, yeah, we need a bookkeeper. Come over and keep our books, we'll give you money. That's what I thought. That's what I expected. But you know what? I didn't get one single response to my ad that said, yeah, we're looking for a bookkeeper. Come on over. I got 3 responses, 2 of which I can't remember. It's been 100 years ago. I got responses, 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly, but I do remember 2 of them saying, I'll be a bookkeeper for you. Do you catch my drift? Do you understand what I'm saying? I advertised for work as a bookkeeper for someone else, and people called me saying, I want to be your bookkeeper, D. Like, actually, Mr. McClung. And I'm like, I'm not hiring you to be a bookkeeper for me, even if I needed one, because you're fucking stupid. I'm going to let some idiot keep my books that can't even read a simple sentence like, I'm looking for a job as a bookkeeper, and thinking, oh, I'm a bookkeeper, I'll call and get it. No, you're not going to be a bookkeeper for me if you can't read that simple sentence and understand that I'm asking other people to hire me as a bookkeeper, not looking for a bookkeeper to work for me. I mean, it's plain fucking English. But I swear to God, at least 2 people, just, I'm looking for a job as a bookkeeper. You're not working for me as a bookkeeper. In fact, if you tell me anybody you ask for a job as a bookkeeper, tell me who it is so I can warn them not to hire you because you're a fucking idiot. Seriously. The English language has been turned into Babel by the mind benders. Now, I know you think, oh, the mind benders, it's some kind of word, and you're like getting all freaky because I guess maybe you just don't hear the word very often. The word mind benders should be as common as, liar or neocon or socialist bastard. Mind benders, evil people. Bad, bad people. And there is a matrix. Now, the definition of matrix means what it means. And I think that's a relatively new word. I think there was probably a matrix before the movie Matrix, but the word probably meant pretty much the same even before the movie came out and before that word became, common knowledge or famous or whatever because of the movie. Look it up in the dictionary. Come on, I'm not going to do all your homework for you. So what we have is, let's turn the people's minds to mush and let's, get them all to read and write and speak Babel. That'll keep them confused, and we can just come along and just control them and manipulate them and indoctrinate them and condition them to all kinds of nonsensical bullshit like the word pedophile means, somebody that wants to fuck like a 17-year-old. Oops, I let that one slip in there, didn't I? No, the word pedophile does not mean that. Doesn't. Never has, never will. That's not what it means. So, if you've been brainwashed, indoctrinated, manipulated, conditioned to think that the word pedophile applies to, some guy wanting to fuck a 17-year-old, then you're a fucking moron. You're illiterate. You're a fool. Because it doesn't mean that. It's never meant that. I mean, just take the word itself. Pedophile. Lover of children. The word child is defined as a factual definition. Prepubescent. Before adolescence. Before puberty even sets in. A child is under 12, give or take, depending on your development individually. Pedophile. Ped means children. Child. Now people say, oh, you're defending pedophiles. See, that's another example of people not understanding English. I'm talking about a word and its meaning. I'm not talking about some pervert out there twaddling the little girl kids somewhere in the frickin' playground, whatever. Oh, by the way, pedophiles, as a rule, don't rape children. That's because, we got hysteria going on, and that hysteria is being fueled by the mind benders, the government, and the media, and, your neighbor that hasn't got a brain in his head. Oh, pedophile, pedophile, pedophile. No. Just because you are a pedophile doesn't mean you actually rape anybody. In fact, you could be a pedophile your whole life and never commit a crime. Never molest a child. Never fuck an 8-year-old. Because I happen to know pedophiles, not personally, I just know of them. I mean, I do some research, duh. But I'm not a pedophile. I know, people call me that. They've said, you're a pedophile, you're a child molester, blah, blah, blah. And that's just lying. That's slander, that's libelous, that's defamatory. It's a civil crime to call me that, because I'm not that. And if I was, none of your business. No reason to get hysterical. I could be a bank robber, but if I never robbed a bank in my life, then, I guess I didn't commit a crime. So, no reason for anybody to concern themselves with what I'm doing in my life, since I'm not robbing banks, even though I might identify as a bank robber. I think it'd be kind of hard to say, oh, you're a bank robber, but I never robbed a bank. Well, then I guess you're not a bank robber then, are you? Yeah, well, I could identify as one. And another one of those things that people are confused about is lawyer business. Okay? Being a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice. I hear that a lot. People say, oh, well, I can't give you legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. What does that mean? Well, you can be a lawyer. You just might not be, an officer of the court, or licensed or certified or member of the American Bar Association, but you're still a lawyer if you're a lawyer. And like me, freedom of speech means I can actually give you legal advice because, sorry, but it's called freedom of speech. I can tell you whatever I want. I can say to you, oh yeah, this legal situation here you got here, I don't advise you actually doing that deed because, it's a crime. When a person graduates from college, with a law degree, and they say, you're a lawyer. And you're always going to be a lawyer because you got the freaking piece of paper that says so. This person has met the requirements to be a lawyer, and therefore they are now lawyers. And even if that person is a lawyer, educated, knowledgeable, and very professional in his attitude towards the law, doesn't mean he has to practice law. He could just become a truck driver if he wants. And he couldn't give legal advice. Now, if you take legal advice from an idiot, then, doesn't matter whether he's got a license or if he's an officer of the court or not. I mean, if a lawyer, there are a lot of lawyers that are officers of the court that actually, are in cahoots with the criminal justice system. The legal system in this country. Criminal, corrupt system. They're criminals. The judges are freaking criminals. Just look at the Supreme Court. See about 9 of those. 8 currently. So what I'm saying is, sure, I can give you legal advice. Now, if you don't take my advice, that's your business. And if you think, I think your legal advice is not a good thing, and I'm not going to follow your advice. Well, okay, fine. So let's put it this way. I'm a brain surgeon. I can say it. I'm legally allowed to say it because, free country, free speech. But if you want me to take a scalpel or whatever and drill into your brain, and do brain surgery on you, then you're an idiot if you trust me to do that. Because, do a little background check. Where did I go to school to learn brain surgery? Didn't. So just saying that I'm a brain surgeon doesn't mean you should trust me. You should check my references. Like what hospital am I affiliated with? None. When have you ever done brain surgery before? Never done it. Have you ever gone to school to learn how to be a brain surgeon? No. But you call yourself a brain surgeon? Sure, can. No problem there. You're an idiot if you believe me. I'm not lying. Technically, maybe. But if I say I'm a lawyer and I have a college degree in law and I got a piece of paper that says I'm a lawyer, then I wouldn't be lying if I said I'm a lawyer. But I don't have a license. I'm not affiliated with the government in any way. I'm not affiliated with the court system in any way. I'm just a guy that got a college degree in law, and here I am sitting in my living room making art. So I'm a lawyer, but just not party to the legal system. And I can defend you in court if you want me to. But maybe my legal expertise is not so good as to get you off if you're guilty. And if you're innocent, you might want to get a lawyer that's got some certificates and some experience in defending people accused of being a pedophile or whatever. Oh, by the way, it's not a crime to be a pedophile. Oh, I should probably be honest and tell you what I really am. I am a bona fide, genuine, natural, quite common to human beings because every male freaking human being that's ever been on the planet over the age of 12 is a hebephile. To some degree. Try to look that word up in the dictionary. Yeah, try to find it in the dictionary. You might find it in an old dictionary, but you're not going to find it in a new socialist, Nazi, fascist, neocon, tampered with dictionaries. Yeah, try to find the word hebephile. It's a word. It's a real word. It is a word that describes the condition of certain people. And I'm one of them. Because I fancy sexual attraction to teenagers. Now, you're going to say, oh my God, you're a pedophile. No, I just said I'm not. Two different words, two different meanings. Am I confessing anything? Well, I just told you maybe I'm a brain surgeon, maybe I'm a lawyer, maybe I'm a doctor, maybe I'm a bookkeeper. I actually have bookkeeping experience, like 50 years of bookkeeping experience. I think if I was to get a job as a bookkeeper, I think I'm qualified. Maybe not qualified to be a certified public accountant. That's a little bit more complicated. I have no experience in that. So if I tell you I'm a certified public accountant, then, you might want to check out my references on that one before you hire me, because I'm probably not very good at it. I could probably get good at it, but I'm not qualified at this point. Bookkeeping, yes, I've got plenty of experience. No problem with that. And I've even had a job working for people as a bookkeeper and did my own books for the past 50 years. I never had any legal troubles with that, by the way. Not one time did I have any problems as a legally speaking. So I got to quit, the end of my segment. But just wanted you to hear this thing with Keith Obermann, the lunatic, the moron. And don't be a Keith Obermann, okay? Just be smart. Try it, being smart. All right? Catch you later. Got to go.